Thank you. I think this topic is very, very important, and we are talking at a crucial time when we should be able to try and get the narrative back on track. I'm going to respond a lot to a few things that Professor Jebode said, and the first thing I want to say that in terms of distortion, I think one of the distortion of this recent thing, it's about the name calling. I call it name calling. So you have a situation where there's an attempt to give an impression as if there has never been anything like this before. We've never had protests. You know, so and like Professor Jebode said, we've had protests as far back as the Abeokuta, the Aba that he mentioned. What is spectacular about this is that it's a digital thing, something that had gone online, and we're talking about using technology a lot. So one of the distortion is that there should be no impression, you know, there's this thing about Sorosoke and offing the mic, so to say. So, and this is also causing a lot of disconnect. So the narrative should be that there have been protests in this country. We've had protests. I've told some young people, as a journalist, I've had to be locked up in cell. I used to work in a newspaper where it was locked for over 1 year because we were fighting the military regime. So we need to situate that protest, that there have been protests in this country. We never, our generation did not have internet like they have. So that is the first thing I want to say. So because when you're not careful about that narrative, you begin to get some people disenchanted to say, look, let them go ahead and do what they want to do. It's indeed what they are doing is very commendable. What they're asking for is justifiable. We have had a situation where the police are taking the law into their hands and they need to be stopped. But in doing that, we should join hands together to ensure that we fight the monster and not engage in name calling. Then I also think that, like the lawyers will say, we need to come to equity with clean hands. So it's one thing to make allegations. It's another thing to defend it. One of the reasons why the media, people have named the traditional media as collaborators is that sometimes we are asking the hard question. Because in our own training, we are not social media influencers. We are not dependent on social media to report. So you see so many reports online about what is happening, and you are asking questions. I'm somebody who has followed most of the NSAS professors. I was very shocked one of the days, one of the leaders came online and said, look, journalists are trying to reach me. I don't have time for interview. They should go to my page and just speak information. I don't think that will work. So again, they need to understand that when a journalist is asking for a question, he cannot go ahead and just publish. So for example, the question about what happened in Lekki. What happened in Lekki? There was a shooting. Nobody can deny that. Soldiers shot. Was it a massacre? Was it a shooting? Was it a genocide? We need to situate all this situation. So these are kind of the narrative that I think that we should not discuss. And one last point. When people attack media houses, talk of trust. One of the reasons why the trust matter comes up, again, I keep saying, it's a misunderstanding of what the traditional media does. So when, for example, we ask questions, okay, many people died in Lekki. They say so many people died. We reported that these are the claims, but we are asking questions. Where are the cops and things like that? They say you are taking side with the government. No, that is not what we are doing. What we are asking questions because in our own training, you know, when in doubt, you leave out. When you are sure, you provide evidence. And that's what we are doing. And again, there's an assumption about some of these media houses. And I'll give you an example. On the day of the Lekki shooting, coincidentally, I was watching LTV on 4 stations, a Lagos State station. Before that shooting, they were interviewing all the area boys who were protesting around Alausa. They were asking them questions, they were saying their grievances. But nobody is watching. There's an assumption that that's a Lagos television. On that same day, I watched channels, all through. I watched TVC. They were reporting. But people assume that these people, because maybe somebody owned this station, they were going to say nothing. So that narrative about the media being collaborators, we need to be very careful. What we are saying is that reporting is still reporting. Social media, I mean, unfortunately, some of the things that have come on social media are denied. And when you are denied, question mark, what we say is that we have an address as traditional media. So again, in rounding up, I want to say that what is needed is that we need to put our hands together. We not engage in unnecessary name calling. We should try to understand first and understand that we are all born down TVC. I mean, a great situation that the previous year TVC was the TV of the year. You cannot force the reporting of the nation. So again, I'm saying we need to come to equity with clean hands. Reporting will always be reporting, even when there's a protest. But by and large, I think that what has happened is a lesson for all of us. But more importantly, let's get the narrative straight and let's work together. Let's collaborate so that at the end of the day, we achieve the purpose for which the protest was made. Thank you.